It's a rough start. No.
You can't turn your phone while live.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
There we go. Okay.
Okay,
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good day, wherever you are, whatever time it is delightful to have you here for the Self-Love Experience. This is Gwen Lepard, and I have with me Deborah Dupre.
Hello.
And we just finished up the second day, well, the first full day of Tanya Target's, what is the name of this? Oh my gosh.
$100 million publicity.
Oh yeah, right. 100,000 publicity. Yeah, it's how to get $100,000 in publicity without paying.
That's right.
Yes.
There we go.
And she's gonna shoot us.
And hopefully make $1 million.
Yeah, exactly. Or millions. Yes.
Millions.
And help millions of people. That's one of the reasons why we do it, is because we want to help people, right?
Absolutely, yeah. We all have a story. We all have our pain, and given where we've gotten in life, we can help tons of other people who aren't there yet.
Yeah, and so many of us don't love ourselves and don't even have a beginning of, how could I even love myself, which is one of the reasons why I've been doing this, today being 265 days of the 365 days of going through the self-love experience. And that means we have 100 days left in the year.
Whoa, that's scary just to think about that. But congratulations on the 265. That's a pretty strong showing.
Yeah, well, I made a commitment, so I'm sticking with it. I want to prove that I'm consistent in some things in my life, because I can be so all over the place in others. So, hey, if I'm consistent in one or two places, at least I can show consistency.
Yes.
And flexibility. So this has been my container, and part of the flexibility. Hey, Michael, nice to see you. Pardon me for coming across the camera here. So one of the things that we learned today, and we've been learning all along, is the 5 W's and the 1 H. And so we're going to kind of interview each other with, so who are you?
Who am I?
Yes, who are you, Deborah?
Well, I'll start off by saying Dr. Deborah Dupree.
Ooh,
thank you
so much.
I just went back to school a few years to get that doctorate degree, because I just was puzzled and wanted to learn more about the dynamics of human behavior. And what I learned through the neuroscience of the brain now is just so incredible. It's just expanded my world, and I bring so much more to the people I work with now, having done that.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So, let's see, what? So what? You told me the what already, didn't you?
Yep.
What you do? Well, not completely.
Well,
you
not
went back to school, but what do you do to help people?
Well, with that psychology background, I actually am a licensed therapist by training, but a lot of my work has really been helping people navigate through conflict, particularly through the formal process of mediation, working on the workplace. And so struggling with people, or helping people who are struggling in the workplace, oftentimes with bad bosses, feeling stuck, not being able to get promoted, not being able to get that higher pay, and just feeling stuck. And so one of the things that I do is to work with people, both in classes and one-on-one, is to help them sort of look at what kind of things are keeping them stuck. And like for many of us, we all have a story, and we all have our traumas from our childhood, those old messages that we've been told that continue to run like tapes in our head, and actually keep us from getting where we need to go. So really breaking through.
So I bet that there's a why behind all of that.
Oh, yeah.
You want to share?
Well, thank you, Gwen. I'd love to. Yeah. No, so that's one thing I realized, is that why was I motivated to do what I was doing? Because nobody else in my family was doing anything like me.
Yeah.
But I realized that a lot of it had to do by my looking at my own story. And I grew up in a large family on the younger end of 9 kids. And so I was part of the 3 little ones. There was a big age gap, and we were to be seen and not heard. And so we didn't know how to speak up, and we didn't know how to find our voice and express our emotion. And then on top of that, too, my father and grandfather owned and operated a family-owned business. So I saw all kinds of conflict played themselves out right in front of me, and particularly in the world of business. And my grandfather was sort of like the town ogre, the biggest bad boss you could possibly have. I mean, he was just simply mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So granddaughter of the big bad ogre boss.
Yes, you got it.
All right.
Yep. So, that's sort of become my passion, is to help people sort of uncover those kinds of things in their own lives. And we now know, again, with neuroscience of the brain, that we have lots of little traumas that continue to be with us until we become consciously competent about them.
Yes.
The goal is to be unconsciously competent, so that we are just who we are, and this is how we live our lives, and we can truly step forward into life with our voice, to be heard, and to be credible and with integrity.
So where do you help people?
Where do I help people? Well, I do have live classes, both on the ground as well as through webinars. I work with one-on-one people with Zoom and Skype, and then I also see a few people locally. Yeah, but I go a lot into the workplace. And so organizations might call me in when they know that they're having some trouble and not quite sure where it's coming from. And so I would work with a group of people or a team of people and sort of help uncover the pain points, and then help them develop an action plan to move forward.
Okay. And so when could somebody see you next? I mean, when's your next webinar or live event? Or?
Well, I have a live event actually just next week on September 26th. Yeah, I'll be speaking to a regional conference way down in the southeast corner of California. But yeah, so it'll be live between a couple hundred people. And so
Fabulous.
that's and then I've got a really exciting one on November 8th. I'll be speaking live to in San Diego to a really big conference of executive leaders assistants, and to help them discover how to I like to say how to like your boss even when they're the bad boss.
Oh, I like that so much. So how would someone reach out to you? How would they get in touch with you if they wanted to know more?
Sure. Definitely visit my website, www.relationships-at-work.com. Tells you all about my different programs and webinars, podcasts, a lot of stuff, a lot of information, a lot of tips and techniques. Also Facebook, Dr. Deborah Dupree, and LinkedIn. I post a lot there as well.
Oh, fabulous. Yeah. And we actually met when I came to support Tanya in San Diego. That's right. And I was so impressed with your speech, because it was a bunch of speakers that got 30 minutes each, and how you connected with the audience was really, really engaging and profound, and you were one of the ones that I absolutely remembered. So,
well, thank you, Gwen.
I'm glad that we've run into each other
again
again through
really.
Tanya. Yeah, she's a great connector.
She is a great connector. Yeah. No, this has absolutely been fun. We just said one of the great things about coming to a workshop like this is the new friends you can meet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I have one more how question for you.
Okay.
How are you loving yourself today?
Pretty good. Yeah. One of the things that I realized, it's been a tough week, and then being in a conference like this, a little tired. But I'm going to go. I made sure I got enough sleep last night, and so came back a little refreshed. And just, I do a lot around affirmations every morning, deep breathing, keeping myself centered throughout the day. And so I feel pretty good about myself.
Yeah. Pretty good loving yourself.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Did you want to turn the tables on me, or are we good for today?
Hey, let's get your word out there too. Come on, we got to work together here.
You're gonna take care of.
Yeah.
There's a little ring in the back if you want to.
Okay, I think we're fine. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
oh boy.
Okay. Well, loving yourself. Tell me what you've done to love yourself today.
So what I've done to love myself today is that when I needed a break, I took it.
Good.
I bought myself. I went to Mother's for lunch. Mother's Markets, because they're only in Orange County, and I love them so much. I got some falafel, so I got a good little treat that I could eat easily, and I got some really extraordinary chocolate. So mostly food-based, orally based, taking care of myself today.
Okay. Well, it's important to have the things you like the best,
Yeah. Well, and make sure that I'm feeding myself things that my body can handle, because if I'm out of my environment, and I'm also consuming things that that might trigger reactions in my body, then it would be I wouldn't be able to learn as well.
Right.
And this is a lot of information. Yesterday I left. I was afraid to drive.
Oh gosh.
To where I needed to go. It was like
I know. Yep. I actually went home and took a nap. So before I got up at my teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, who's involved in what you do?
Who's involved in what I do?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Primarily, it seems that the people that I attract into my practice are primarily leaders, people that are hiding out from being leaders, or that really have a message and they haven't really figured out how to be a leader yet.
Okay.
And there are blocks that are involved that are relationship involved. So I do a lot of relationship clearing with people. I have like a 13-step process for clearing relationship baggage, and then get them involved in loving themselves. Because that's like the next step, and then opening to the full potential so that they can, and that's like a 9-month program. Right now, most of the people I work with are, we start with the 3 months to see, what's, because that's, 13 weeks, 13 different ways to remove the relationship baggage. You can clear it, and everything can be amazing. I mean, I had this client who, after our first clearing, her former husband, co-parenting had just been awful. And he had bought a car in her name, and he said, I want to take that car out of your name. And so this car that she was upside down in and she hated, all of a sudden is out of her name. And the co-parenting became better. And she said, even if none of that had happened, just the fact of that she was more comfortable and not being triggered and reacting to his
crap.
Would have been worth it. Worth just having that clearing done. And recently had a client who sent me a text that said, a year ago I was legitimately suicidal, and today I'm happier than I've ever been. And that was like,
that's amazing.
This is why I do what I do, and she's a leader. She's she's got an amazing career, and yet the family life and the relationship with the former husband was really, really wearing on her ability to do her job. So so those types of people.
So thank you, because we have some similar things in common, but we have our different techniques to get there. So I'm curious, how did you get involved in this kind of direction? Tell me your story.
Oh wow. Well, when did the story start? Part of it is my former husband was very verbally abusive. He whipped me verbally pretty much every day, because we had a business that we ran together, and he just assumed I was always going to be wrong. It wasn't pleasant, but he actually physically whipped me one day, and that was the day that I chose to leave. And it was with a pair of wet pants, because I did something stupid like putting laundry in with the wet pant or with the pants so that it would actually do its job and they would be clean, and then would put them in the dryer with something dry so they'd get dry on time. But that was a stupid thing, and he was going to keep coming down on me harder and harder until I stopped doing stupid things. So it led me on a journey of learning healing techniques for myself, and of course, you're willing to spend money to help others, where you won't do it for yourself. If I learn these techniques, it'll help me, but I can help others, and I'll get certified. I wanted those certifications because our business was creating coaching, and I'm like, but we're not certified. And he goes, but we're going to certify other people. And it's like we missed a step here, but in his mind we didn't. So I have a wall of certifications. People see my Facebook Lives often. And that's just a fraction of them. That needing of outward validation. So finding, getting all of that training, and then I met this amazing woman that was an energy medicine practitioner, and she did a clearing of my husband, which was really helpful. And then a few years later, I'd been using her techniques that I'd learned, and I was working with a business partner that had the same controlling attributes as my former husband, and I hadn't realized I'd brought him back in again. So that repeating pattern of the relationships in your life. So
that's what's
so
important.
And I was with a class with her, learning some more techniques, a 13-week class, and she said, okay, you're going to clear one person, so think of, and I'm like, my former husband, do I need to clear me? What about my husband? I'm going to do the business partner, whoever was stickiest, and I cleared him, and the next day he listened to me. And our relationship improved after that. It was too late for the business, but it was it made such a difference. I started using it with my clients. And then it was like diving in deeper, and I keep taking the learnings and expanding on them. It's one of my mentors says, when you read a book, you read it with the mindset of what could be better and what's missed. So there were things that in the training, which is still phenomenal, that I felt would work better combined with some other things that I already knew, and so making some of the techniques my own, and trying them out on clients and finding that they worked really, really well because I had belief in them. and then I shared with the energy healer, the scientific healer.
Yeah. Oh,
Who's
there
really,
we go.
really super
Yeah.
awesome. And I co-host a show with her.
Okay. Cool.
Once a month. Anastasia Chopolis.
There you go.
Very, very impactful person in my life. That I ran some things by her, and she goes, "Oh, those are like really advanced techniques," and I didn't teach those to you. So I was already in that realm.
The teacher now became the student, so to speak.
Well, no, she knew them, but
Okay.
the fact that the student had already learned things that hadn't been taught was interesting to her.
Okay.
So
Great.
yeah, do you have any more questions for me?
Well, I think we covered the who and the what and the why. And so tell me more about where and when can someone find you?
Okay, so you can find me every day. The timing
Right here on
varies right here on
Facebook.
Facebook Live. Doing 365 days of Ask How Do I Love Myself Today. It's been called the Self-Love Experience. I do webinars. I'll let people know about that. My next live talk is here in Orange County in Fountain Valley at OC Breast Wellness, and that's going to be October 4th. And if you're interested in that, put something in PM in here, or a comment in here. And I'll be talking about 3 of the techniques that we use for clearing, and you can get great results just with these 3 techniques.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there's 13, but these 3 you can get a lot done, and a lot of relief just from using those 3 and doing them on a regular basis. It's like so many. I mean, when I started out, it's like one and done, and it's like brushing your teeth. You energy clearing. You need to do it every day.
Doing it.
They're practices.
Yeah.
These are practices. And
lifestyle changes.
Yeah, lifestyle changes.
Yeah, right.
And having those tools that you go, oh, that's right, I forgot. How many tools do I have that I forget?
Yeah.
So what else would you like to know?
Well, and the last one would be is how do people reach you aside from Facebook?
Aside from Facebook, best way is actually Facebook Messenger.
Oh, okay.
Because it's on my phone, and I'm constantly responding to text. Text
Sure.
is always best.
Yeah.
I have lots of websites that I'm working on. You don't want to go to any of them. They're all bad. Though if you want to read a really, really long story, my story is at joycenteredlife.com. So that's the name of my business, is Joy Centered Life.
Okay. Joy-centered life. Okay.
.com. Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, I think we did a pretty fantastic job of hitting all the 5 W's and the 1 H. How's
It was
that?
fun.
6-step process to getting to a story, right?
6-step process to getting a story. I like it.
Okay.
Thank you, Michael. Did you enjoy? Are you loving yourself today?
Okay.
So, from Orange County, California, Dr. Deborah Dupree and Gwen Lepard signing off and saying, now you go love yourself.